Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop. Today we have another S-Works Venge build, now in this dove grey color, which is a first for me. It's one of the few Venge frames left that I managed to order for a customer. So we'll be building for him. It's a size 52. And the part spec is going to be quite high-end. We have a Sram red E-tap axis group set, which we'll use in a 1x configuration. This is a complete one, but we're not going to use the front mag. We have, luckily, the new 2-piece calipers, which are much better than the previous HRD model, so that's good. Then, apart from that, we have the cranks, which are 172.5, and the chainring, which is going to be a 52 spark. It's somewhere over there. We're going to use an Enve SES aero handlebar in a 40 centimeter width. And then we have a ceramics with bottom bracket. This, as you can see, is a BSA threaded version. And if you know the Venge frame, well, that's BB30, so you might say that's not going to fit, but I have a bit of a trick for this. Okay, so the trick I have for the bottom bracket is this one. It's a Sram BB32 BSA adapter, which I have recently found, and I'm planning to use it now. This essentially is a machine sleeve that fits into the BB30 shell, and it's permanently bonded in there, so it becomes part of the frame. And then you thread, well, just a regular thread bottom bracket in there. You can already see that I have marked it with a pen, and this is because for some weird reason it's not marked from the factory, and I wanted to make sure that it's bonded in correctly. Why is that important? Well, it's no tragedy if you fit it the other way around, but then the cups have to go in the other way around because the threads change direction. And yeah, in that case, it kind of defeats the point of the direction of the thread, because it's designed this way, so precession is not going to loosen it, or the cups, I mean. Another special part we have is the mirror saddle, which has a 3D printed upper. I've already talked about this before, and yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but people claim it's super comfortable. Definitely looks very cool, something like out of a Marvel movie. And yeah, it's very high-end. All the areas have differently tuned stiffnesses and springiness to them, which you can really feel. So when a couple more pieces of them arrive at the store, I really want to try it out myself. And then we have one more specialty, or a bit of a rarity nowadays. As you can see, this is a tubular rim. It's an Enve SES 5.6 disc, so it's what the Team NTT uses most of the time. Normally I build and recommend clincher or tubeless wheels and tires, because tubulars are not very practical. In fact, I would only go for them if I was in a road race where I have my own support car. Otherwise they don't really make sense, but they make for really damn light wheels. And these are going to be light indeed. The rims themselves are nice, light and aero, also super stable in the wind. And they're going to be laced to the new DT 180 hubs, which are also very nice. They have ceramic bearings, they have straight pull spokes, center lock, brake mount, new ratchet EXP system, so pretty cool stuff indeed. So custom bike build with a custom wheel build doesn't really get any better than that. That's also a lot of work, so let's not waste any more time and get going. The first step in building a bike is building the wheels, which you will start by lacing, of course. I started with the front wheel, which has already taken shape. The spokes are still loose, but everything is in one place. The lacing is actually not something that takes very long, but you can make pretty big mistakes in there if you don't pay attention, which will cost you a lot of time and stress. So there's no need to rush it really. You can, well, get different kinds of mistakes, like misplacing the spokes on drive to non-drive side, or threading them in the wrong spot, etc. So you really want to pay attention there, make sure that no one distracts you. Yeah, as I said, the DT180 hub, straight pull, as most high-end road hubs nowadays. That makes the lacing a bit different than a regular flanged hub. It's actually a bit quicker if you've done it before. And there are differences between straight pull hubs too. For example, Carbon TI starts from the opposite side when you want to lace it compared to DT Swiss, so you need to know that before and figure it out. But yeah, if you have that already, then it's pretty darn quick, because yeah, the spokes are all pointing the direction I want to go in. So that's cool. Now it's just time to tighten the wheel up, through it, and do the final tensioning, which goes also pretty quickly if you have the spoke length calculated correctly. I didn't need to do that this time because I've had previous calculations saved where I had the exact same configuration of hub and rim, only that was a clincher rim, but changes nothing in terms of the effective rim diameter. Also, people tend to complain about hidden spoke nipples. Now Enve have their own, these brass nipples for durability, because they're hidden inside there. It doesn't actually take longer than with the standard nipple if you know how to do it. I have my technique developed there, so it goes pretty quickly. One drawback is that there's no nipple driver for these nipples, or at least I or Enve don't have it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So that makes the first round of tensioning a bit more laborious. But yeah, having built a couple of sets now already, it goes pretty quickly as well. Of course, it's not nearly as quick as with, for example, a DT or a standard nipple, where you can just use a power tool with the proper nipple driver that I also have. They just wind it in a matter of seconds. So yeah, bit more care needed here and a bit more technique, but can be done. Okay, the front wheel already has taken its shape. Now it's time for the rear wheel. Okay, both wheels are now laced completely and regularly, so my least favorite part is now over. Now for the more enjoyable bit, the truing. Okay, the wheels are now ready, completely trued and set up, coming in at a rather staggering 1320 grams, so super light, because yeah, mainly of the rims, they're pretty light themselves, plus the fact that they're tubular makes them even lighter. Then we've got very light DT180 hubs, so yeah, coming in at probably the lightest road wheel set I've ever built, without being ridiculously shallow or not aero at all. So yeah, nice little compromise there. Good climbing wheels. Then yeah, we have the rest of the components ready right here, and the frame. So since everything is prepared, let's get going with the bike. Okay, so now it's time to install the converting sleeve, for which I'm going to use the heat contraction of aluminum. So I'm going to heat up the frame or the shell in the frame, and I'll bring the spacer or the adapter, which is in the freezer, so down to minus 18 degrees. This will probably around 100-150, and then it should go in easily and then retained by the retaining compound that is supplied. Okay, fast forward a couple of days and the bike is now ready. And it's a stunner, to be honest. One of the last Venges available. I managed to get a couple of frames, as I mentioned earlier. This is for a Polish customer. And yeah, everything on it basically is fully custom. So you can't get this frame set in a whole bike. The wheels are custom built, as I said, with custom decals to boot. And generally it's a very nice spec indeed. So let's start running through some details. As you can see, there are no tires yet. I have ordered the S-Works turbo tubulars for it, but they didn't arrive, unfortunately, so he'll get his own tires on there. The Enve handlebar matches very nicely with the Venge stem, so I think that's a good choice. Very nice clean setup. Two 10mm spaces on there, so not fully slammed, but still a pretty stretched out position with a 130 12-degree stem. Yeah, Sram red HRT brake levers, quite chunky. Some people like that, some don't. It's a bit of a personal preference. Then with the Venge stem and all specialized stems on the modern bikes, on the recent releases, you've got this barfly mounting system, which is probably the neatest on the market. Yeah, a bit of a close-up to the wheels. As I said, MV56 tubulars with custom decals and DT180 hubs with sync bearings, so top of the line stuff all around. They actually come in at a pretty staggering 1320 grams. I think I mentioned it earlier when I was showing just the wheels themselves. I decided to go with the white bar tape to match the brightly colored frame, although the frame is, at least in this light, it's not very white, or it's called dove gray, and for a reason. But yeah, not bad at all. Also, it has this greenish, bluish accent in the logos, which matches the logos on the wheels, so that's pretty neat. We got Enve bottle cages to match the wheels, the bar and the bar tape. Just going back to the bar tape, this is my favorite bar tape to date. Super supple. You can make it thick and very thin also, depending on how you wrap it. It's nice and stretchy when wrapping, so it can be done very beautifully. And yeah, it feels super nice on the hands. So yeah, favorite bar tape to date. If you go further down, we have the ceramics with threaded bottom bracket with the SRAM BB32B SA adapter, so that's pretty neat as well. We have the Quark 1x power meter with a 50-tooth chainring on there. Up top we have the super cool mirror saddle, 3D printed, extremely comfortable, very popular, and fairly expensive, I would say. Then ceramic speed oversized pulley wheels, 10 to 33 cassette, and again a 5/6 wheel at the back. The rotors 140 160 on the front, SRAM centerline X center lock as well to match. Actually most high-end hubs nowadays are fitted with center lock mounts, which is a bit of a problem if you're running SRAM, because if you get the group set you get 6-bolt rotors, so basically they're useless. One subtle improvement that I would suggest for this frame is a removable front Mac hanger. The new tarmac has it. I wish this one did. It will be a bit of a cleaner setup, but other than that, very neat indeed. As you can see it right now, without pedals and the tubulars, but everything else you need. It's 6.5 kilos, so pretty light, although I would say the white or light gray paint actually adds a bit of weight compared to mine, which is almost raw. If you add tubulars in there, that's 600 grams more or less, so it's 7.1, plus the pedals around 200-300 grams, so not super light. The SRAM red group set is not super light, so partly down to that. Also the mirror saddle is not super light at around 200 grams, so not the lightest possible version, but still very nice for an aero bike. And if you look at it, it's the same size and same model of the frame, basically 2021 Venge, like mine over here, but it's radically different if you look at it. This one has roll wheels, Shimano, the dark bronze color, the new tarmac stem, S-Works handlebar, so pretty different. What do you say, which one would you take? This one or this one? Let me know in the comments down below. That's all about this bike though. If you want to know more about other stuff that I work on and use myself, then don't forget to tune into the channel later on and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.